They have to be a bit careful. I definitely feel like Falcon should take this turtle right here, and that's where you see the Rafaela start to pop up, try to show up. Just in case if TNZ overheats a little bit, you have the bonus movement speed and Q to run back.
The way Falcon are playing, right, they actually are winning out in these prolonged trades that should be in favor of Incendio Supremacy based on how much damage output they have. But guess what? That's Brody. That's a burst marksman. You're mainly looking for burst, not DPS. So Xyp9x can actually be the one to win out in these sustainable battles, dealing out more damage in a long time instead of Sunshine, who just wants to go for that crazy burst. And with the items here, you can already see that's going to be very, very tough for the Brody to compete in the damage department against the Beatrix, who's already building towards the Hunter Strike. Ling as well. Remember, he went for Windtalker Berserker's Fury, so there's more DPS than burst.
And you gotta be worried about Incendio, because this game skills later into the game. Falcon, they have a hyper carry lane, they have a hyper carry Beatrix. This is only getting scarier as the hyper carry really gets her item, really get a power spike. One Divine Judgment might just decide the entire game. Speaking of in the middle lane, might look a little suspicious here. Naomi coming in to flicker. Oh, and the TNZ will be targeted, beaten up, taken down, and into the rough way to the back line. Killing spree goes up Ken as the Falcon secure the entirety of the fight. They take it.
They secure the entirety of the fight. Alien left a little bit awkward at the bottom side. It's a 5v4 in the mid lane. The best part is you see how Naomi timed the ultimate, making sure that TNZ uses the CC immunity first and then strikes back.
It's like it came off a dream, dude. Oh my god. As a Kadena player, there's nothing you want more in the world than to get a 3-man knockup, bursting them down and setting up for your team. Falcon have been utilizing their weapons so well here, rotating, being active across the map, and Justin again.
One more time, Justin finding the wombo combo on Alien, who beautifully the skill to the dodge. Now Justin in trouble. The railroad manipulation will find him dead in the black and white screen. Incendio fights back, but yet this is still an uphill battle for Incendio, as now Falcon's looking at a really comfortable spot. Speaking of that, Naomi might have himself between a rock and a hard place here, taking a lot of damage. He will be absolutely obliterated. A beautiful combo from Incendio. They fight back, and they're now making the move to the Lord.
Respect is the name of the game. Falcon, initially 2k gold lead, down to 1,000. Why? Because they got too comfortable. They started disrespecting Incendio a bit too much, overextending into the enemy territory. And now you're seeing a little bit of the same. Falcon needs to understand that their lead right now and their heroes will actually fall off later on, right? Incendio will have a lot of resources to actually negate a lot of the CC coming in. So Falcon needs to stay disciplined, needs to just go, and they are exactly doing that, committing onto the Lord.
Committing onto Lord, Ken will definitely take that away. I think that's another factor from the side that's working very well for Incendio, is TNZ is actually starting to snowball. If you notice that previous catch from the side of Justin on top of Alien earlier just now, using that timing that second skill to that T is simply beautiful, Merkel.
It is very, very beautiful. And now we're going to take a look at the items again. Ken has actually completed the Endless Battle too, so at this point, we said it earlier on, the amount of damage he was doing in these team fights is more DPS. Now with the Endless Battle, the Berserker's Fury working on, whoa, he's actually going for a BOD here, not penetration, no Malefic Roar, no DHS. He wants to deal more damage on towards the back line, and as you can see from Rosa, there's no physical defense just yet. He's gonna be melted down if Xyp9x and Ken can go for it.
Or Justin. Speaking of that, here comes Divine Judgment and getting Apex 47 onto the back line. He's able to use the flicker to get himself the way to safety though, but not so fast for Alien, who will be taken out of this planet, taken out of the land of Dawn, as now Falcon knocking the front door of the side of Incendio. They have one more wave come towards the middle. Here it comes, Yellow Flash, putting those fake damage into the front line, trying to zone everybody away, but beautiful railroad manipulation will make sure the entire Falcon backs away from the high ground towers.
That was a very beautiful defense coming off from Incendio. Not only just the fact that they identified the minions is the main problem, even though they're down on one member. Props to Incendio for doing such a wonderful defense.
They've snowballed so much, Falcon Esports. Incendio Supremacy, again, yes, it was a good defense, but look at their composition again. The only person who can really take it to the later stage of the game is that Yves. Uh-oh, Justin.
Might be spotted here, and sure enough, Rosa with a skill one beautifully spotted Justin into that bush. And this is a hyper awareness. We're talking about Spider-Man level 6th sense right here. Spotting someone into the bush, and that saved Rosa from potential death.
Item check again. Beatrix Zippix already completing that Malefic Roar, heading on to either Wind of Nature or a DHS at this point. But honestly, from the amount of damage Incendio have been putting up in these team fights, I would much rather see a DHS for the Beatrix. Just deal more damage out. The best offense for me is, well, the best defense for me is offense. So I think he might just be going for that. But on the other side, the Glue, man, he is so tanky. There's no way, there's actually no way for any of the Incendio members to burst him down at this point, right? He has so much physical defense with the Anticuras and the Brute Force Breastplate, a lot of movement speed, and he also has Radiant Armor, so he's not really going to be able to shred him down.
Yeah, and not only just that, right? Take a look at the Lord advantage, right? It's a lot of turrets being taken down. If you notice, it's like 1/4 HP of each turret split all the way out. We're going to a sort of a lull. You mentioned, Merkel, Falcon needs to show some respect over to Incendio. Even though they've got this 8.5k gold lead, they're doing it right now. The Lord will be spawned.
That's probably one of the highest Lord advantage that you can get in Time 4, right? Close to 4,000 gold gained by the singular Lord, and that was the entry-level Lord. And here it comes, the enhanced Lord after 12 minutes. And it seemed like Falcon is getting it complete uncontested. This is Incendio holding on to dear life, just protecting the base and hoping to drag until everybody hits their power spike. But can they do that, though, in this game?
It's just the fundamentals, right? The reason Falcon was able to take that Lord for free is the wave control that they're actually putting down. Slow pushing the mid lane and even that bottom lane, forcing Incendio to actually step out of the base a little bit, and they're not going to do that. It's not safe at all. If he does step out of that base, there's so many pick potential coming in from Falcon, and they're already zoning right now.
Yellow flash, already flashing into the enemy base, the only anybody away from the high ground tower. As the first high ground tower will fall, Ken will style onto the top high ground tower as this tower will be shredded to pieces. Almost taken down, but still standing still, holding up dear life. And that is bottom lane Lord charging into the base as there were no towers standing after this one last swing. The entire side of base for Incendio is shattered around. Ling comes in, finding the damage. Devon Justin will find kill number 1. Ling's going in. This guy's unstoppable. Falcon, they're looking to find the entire base. A beautiful dive, a beautiful rough way will find a kill of Sunshine to the back line. And now, there's nothing Alien can do as Land of Dawn has been claimed by Falcon. Ladies and gentlemen, as BHA hit the base, Falcon will take game 1.
GG well played over the side of Falcon. They know the Blacklist strategy. They know the Obey strategy. They know the Turkish Delight strategy. They committed that to the memory, and they managed to break that code.
14,000 gold lead at the end of it all, and this is just the Burmese playstyle we were talking about, prioritizing kills and then seeing what's on the board. They've been getting kills, they've been able to force a lot of these fights, and guess what? Incendio, they were just not ready for that. Incendio didn't play to the way they actually did in their victories. How Incendio usually likes to play the games and how they actually take the games into their own hands is by not going for that crazy team fight, not actually facing off against Falcon that way. They want to go for trades across the board, cross map, and mirroring the movements from the side of Falcon. So much damage, so much pick potential, you're not allowed to stay in lane and stay isolated.
Another thing that I also have to point out for the side of Incendio Supremacy is the fact that, you know, it's not an Estes anymore. You're bringing a Rafaela, but I'm going to leave it that to the analysts to break it down for us. But we got to talk to you about the M4 Battle Night Boom Boom Pow goes live this January 21st. Expect loads of events and rewards up for grabs in-game. First of all, what you can do is complete the battle tasks in the game on January 21st to get a skin choice chest. Yes, I love the Leslie skin very much. I need to buy that. You can choose the skin you like for most of the chests, so I can definitely get a Leslie skin. Aside from that, battle bonus awaits you on the same day as well. Play matches and you get a team star protection for 3 matches, double star raising points, double protection points.
What?
Double AXP and double BP for 5 matches, and we're not stopping there.
Sheesh.
I need to breathe. Free access to all heroes and loads of epic skins will also be available on that day. So save that date, log into the game on January 21st, enjoy the match and win lots of rewards. And let's all celebrate the M4 Championship together, including with your friends. And I need to breathe.
You know what? You know,
There's so many free stuff.
Yeah, so much free stuff. Casting M4 exciting, but getting those free stuff is more exciting. I'm going to log into the game on that day.
Well, yep, and with that said, we're going to throw it back to our analysts. It is up to you, Gideon, Arashi, and Wolf. Take it away. Break down that game for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analyst segment. And wow, what a game, what a performance. And I think our expectations were kind of blown out of the water.
I think it was a very good draft coming out from Incendio Supremacy, but there was something that Falcon did in this game from the draft as well as their playstyle to kind of prove to counter the Ube strategy. And this will be kind of quite a long discourse for sure, but I have maybe just to cut it short. What I noticed, the main boon or the main problem of Ube's strategy is that if they don't get to group up together, if their tempo is broken, they cannot find their openings. And that's what happened here. Falcon with Justin and Ken, they destroyed the tempo of Incendio Supremacy.
I think we have to give a lot of credit over to specifically Justin here because I think his spatial and situational awareness is at an all-time high. He understands the breaking points of his team and bridges that gap to hold them in an awkward chokehold and let the Burmese Python do his work.
Speaking now about the item builds here, we were talking a lot about Ken actually behind the stage, and we talked about his power spike. So if you look at his items, it's just really, really early considering it's only a 15-minute game.
It could have been, honestly, it could have been faster to a certain degree, but you have to admit that Incendio had a good idea of what a defense they wanted to put up. And unfortunately for their composition, it really revolves around whether or not you can actually get a good combination of ultimate abilities. Like Alien with the Electro Final Blow and the Petrify, you have a lock, you have many different ways of lockdown, but the most important one is the Holy Baptism coming in from Apex. So Falcon immediately recognized that that was the biggest issue. If they got flickered on, if multiple people got hit by the Holy Baptism, it makes Rosa's job so much easier. So let's shut it down and making sure that they are careful, make sure that Naomi and Justin are in two separate parts in two different angles.
What I noticed here as well is that Ken opted to go for the jungle emblem. So this is the Demon Slayer, which kind of speeds up the jungling pattern of Ken. That is why they were able to disrupt the tempo of Incendio Supremacy. Get items faster means that you can fight much faster, and that's what they did against the Turkish squad.
I mean, early on, we talked about how Incendio, they're going to rely on that big AoE combo team fight. What do you think was the main issue, Wolf? Like, it really wasn't working out. We saw them use the ultimates, and yet Falcon was still able to survive.
Yeah, it's a combination of both, like Falcon disrupting them, right? We already talked about that. Another thing is that I think that Incendio Supremacy cannot play as comfortable as they would compared to the previous games because they played for the Eve. And Rosa is known for a very aggressive player. When he plays the Farsa, as an Eve, you're not really that aggressive. I mean, you can think about being aggressive as the Eve, but you have to reserve your ultimate. You have to make sure that it hits a lot of people. You have to make sure that you're in the right spot because Farsa, as compared to an Eve, is much more faster or much more aggressive.
Well, I mean, they were going to try and go a bit more aggressive, but I think that Falcon as well, it seems like they had a lot of things going well for them, especially because of the lack of DPS coming from Incendio. Do you think it's intentional, Gideon?
Well, I think once they got control over the tempo, they wanted to push it away from Zipex. They were making sure that Zipex would actually have a relatively good time. Like, Brody was not able to bully him as hard as he wants to, and a lot of that jungle pressure forced Brody to mitigate the trades and pull back. But let's have a look at the MVP.
MVP for that first game, it's going to be Justin on that Kadita. 5-2 and 5 with a 71% kill participation. He was the main man making all the plays happen. And of course, the whole team, they're just used to playing flashy. But I think Justin was the X factor, the dynamic playmaker.
I wonder if we get to see the heat map, right? Because what I noticed from that game is that he stayed in that part of the map in the gold lane on the right side, along the bush of the crab as well as the lizard. You know what I'm talking about, that L bush that we're talking about. He stayed there, he made it his home. It made it so difficult for the side of Incendio Supremacy to defend their gold laner in the mid stages of the game.
I mean, that's where you literally, the elbush you're talking about, the tri-bush I like to call it, down by that bottom side, a really pivotal part of the map because it controls 3 different pathways down to get into the gold lane. And this is only between 0 to 5 minutes. The fact that Justin was able to have help from his support to get that mid lane control and then press his influence into the side lanes for counter engages always helps out your jungler, especially if he, Ken, gets out for free.
Well, speaking of the jungler here, let's look at some of the highlights from this game. And all the way in the early game, it does seem like Justin was the man trying to make it all happen. And of course, it was messy because both teams, they're going to try and scramble this. But it really seems like Incendio